Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We covered Vishy Anand's Immortal yesterday against Levon Aronian from 2013 in Tata Steel. It was so good, we had to do it again. We're going back 6 years to 2007. It is Viswanathan Anand versus Sergey Karjakin. Another masterpiece, and not only that, another masterpiece with the black pieces. We saw a d4 opening in the previous game. This game, what else would it be but where all great openings begin, but with a Najdorf Sicilian defense. Truly, there's nowhere else to start. Now, I hope you understand. This is not a game that was peaceful. These games are immortal because it's not just that they were played well. It's that pieces were sacrificed, they were left hanging, they were left without protection, and the game was still won. Sorry, I'm talking so slowly. It's a bit late in the afternoon. It's a Friday. I hope you're having a great Friday. Anyway, Sergey Karjakin, a little bit of a controversial figure nowadays, but still, he plays the other side of this game. But this is truly just, it's a Vishy masterclass. Bishop to e3 is the English attack variation of the Najdorf defense, which is a variation of the Sicilian defense. And basically, black is going to go this way, white is going to go this way, someone will win, and someone will lose. e5 now kicks the knight out of the center, knight to b3, all main stuff so far, bishop to e6, f3 securing the center, bishop to e7, queen d2, short castles, long castles. Let the fight begin. We get knight bd7, the player is still developing their pieces. Nothing silly or stupid has happened yet, but now it comes g4. And the only way to meet g4 is to play b5. You go, I go. g5, b4. Knight e2 moves away. Knight to e8. Of course, you can get g takes f6 here, right? G takes f6, it would be bc3, and you hit the queen, which is the most important part here. So it would be queen c3, and then knight takes f6 probably. And this would have been a way to play. But I would wager that white does not like this, because the c file is now open, the b file is now open, and I just feel like black has probably benefited from that more. So, knight e2 retreats, and knight e8 retreats. It looks so passive. Like, black's pieces do not look awake. They do not look like they're ready for a fight. The only piece that can do anything is this rook, and it's not really doing much at the moment. Also, you might say, isn't this pawn hanging after the knight moved? It is. It's not worth taking. f4. You continue the attack. a5, f5, a4. Once again, we have the scenario, both pieces can be captured, but here it is an important move here. There's only one move really that gives white a decent advantage, and Karjakin plays it. He plays knight b, d4. This is why this game is immortal. Both players were just straight up hanging pieces. It's an amusing move, because it's trapping this bishop on e6, basically. Because if you say, well, my bishop's hanging, I can, like, take that, then you get trapped. And there are various knight problems. If you take the knight, then probably knight takes d4, and this bishop is still trapped. It's got no square to go to at all. And you might say, but I can take here. You can, but now I trapped the bishop. Oh. No, not like that. Knight. Oh, knight c6 comes first, and then you trap this bishop on e7. That's funny, because the queen can't defend it anymore, and you take this with check. And then probably you trap this, or try to. Sorry, missed that completely. Anyway, knight d4. If you consider just e takes f6, then there's a takes b3, e takes f7 check, rook takes f7, king b1, and b takes a2 check. And this actually is not good for black, because after like king a1, this is much better for Sergey Karjakin, because this pawn is an umbrella pawn, and the lines for white are much more open than they were. So knight bd4, Vishy responds with the best thing, which is to take the knight. Knight takes d4, and now he plays b3. You don't try to move the bishop, you just accept what is about to happen. You might say, wait, hang on, but isn't this still a problem? Because it hits the queen and goes here. It's not, because you've got b takes a2, and you promote. So you don't have time. I mean, you can take the queen, but then you lose very beautifully. So e takes d4, knight takes d4, and now an important move, b3. From Vishy, as we saw, goes down that line. And this is important. King b1 is played now, and now we take, and the knight is forced to drop back. You might say, wait, can't you just take with the queen? You can, but it's not the most accurate move, because now rook c8 comes. And you might say, but what about this? You know, hit the queen and stuff like that. I can just take on c6. Queen takes, and then something like knight to e5. And you start untangling. Sorry, I was just double checking. Sorry, it's a Friday. I hope that doesn't compromise the video. I hope you're still enjoying this. Yeah, so king b1 is played. This game is horribly complex. It really is. I'm trying to explain it, but what these players were thinking is just unbelievable. King b1 is played. B takes a2, the knight drops back. The black bishop, just by the way, has been hanging for about 5 moves. I hope that's clear to you. That bishop can be taken at any point. It is still hanging. Now, there is a line here. There are 2 moves that we need to look at. One is, queen takes c2 was a line. Now, there is kind of only one move here that Vishy has to find. Viswanathan Anand has to find. Mr. Anand. There's only one move that holds here. Can you find it? I probably wouldn't be able to do it. It looks so silly, but it actually makes a lot of sense. The move is bishop to b3. Black says, fine, my bishop's hanging, there's no way to save it. Take it. Take it. Because if you take it, I get this, which is what happens in the game. This is what I get. This is what I get. I get everything that I could have ever wanted to attack this white king, because this pawn is sealing it so well. The queen flies in, not right now, because you would take, and then that would become a weakness. It hits the knight, so obviously the knight can't go there, because then you're allowing this. I get everything I wanted, but you get the piece back. Knight a3, knight to e5. Who's really attacking who here? h4. Rook a5. Look at rook a5. The rook prepares for queen to a8. And we are going downtown on the king. This attack is too slow. You do not have enough pieces involved in the game. My king is safe. Your king is not. Queen c3 makes a lot of sense, but it's probably the losing move. In this position, Karjakin had many choices. He could have played queen to b4, could have played bishop to f4, trying to remove this knight, could have also played f6 and gone all in. Queen c3 is the losing move. Queen a8, we fulfill the plan. Bishop to g2. It actually, how do you break through, right? Because this looks nice, like sacking and getting here. But what are you giving up? You're giving up your rook for the knight, and there's no mate. There are ways to defend mate. You might say, because, like, let's run down the line. Takes, and takes here, right? There's no mate. Rook d2 defends everything. And white's better, you can see on the evaluation. So how do we break through after bishop to g2? What's the breakthrough? Well, and this is a move Viswanathan Anand found over the board. Without this, black's pieces are stuck. Knight c7. Brilliancy. Knight c7, brilliancy. Why? Because now this rook can get in the game. It can get in here. It can get in here. It's in the game. The final piece he needed to activate. It doesn't matter that you can take this, because rook c8 comes and it is game over. And guess what? This is the best continuation. This is what happens in the game. There is one way to try and refute this, and that is to play d5. Oh, sorry, d5 is black's other idea. Knight c7, beautiful. You have to take it. You have to get the material, because rook c8 comes. Queen takes e7, the sacrifice of another minor piece, in case you missed that. The bishop was just hanging. 2 pieces down. What about another? Knight to c4. Why? Because you cannot take it. You can't take the knight. I hope you realize this. You can't do this. You get mated in 1. Knight c4 is played. The idea is to take this. So white goes for it. g6. The only thing I can do to try and get something on this king. H takes g6. Black must capture to avoid back rank problems. Takes. And now knight takes a3 check. Pawn takes. Rook takes a3. You can allow this capture on g7, on f7 with check. And you can play king to h7. And there is no way to attack this king. It's perfectly safe. The only way is to do what Karjakin does and play f8 equals knight. Because it's check and you are trying to find every move available and distract and get someone in. Rook takes, check, check, and Karjakin resigns. Because I've got bad news for you. If you go back to b1, my rook is safe now. Queen takes f8 is devastating. Look at the endgame Viswanathan gets, but it's completely winning. 2 bishops, 2 rooks versus queen and rook. But this king is the problem. And you will get in and you will mate them again. Excuse me. Look at this again. Right? All the way back here, it was a Najdorf Sicilian. So this is the type of game you expect. Bishop to e3, mainline theory. e5, mainline theory. This was all kind of mainline theory as they castled on opposite sides. Knight bd7, and g4, and b5, and here, and king, and, you know, the knight retreats in knight e2 and knight e8. This has been played before. But just f4, a5, and here, just, his bishop hangs. This is move 15. Look at how long that bishop hangs, because he plays a4. Knight b4, knight bd4, the best move. Captures that, leaving his bishop to hang once again. It's not taken because of knight takes d4, the better move. Now, you can take it again, b3. b3, because you don't actually want this. I'm creating unstoppable threats the whole time. White is just not settled. Every time they become settled, I get something else. That comes with check. And then I play this. You never had a moment. You never had a moment to breathe, to get your position intact after committing all those pawns on the queen side. King side. We're attacking down the queen side. A takes b3. The knight goes to the side of the board, but knight e5. And Karjakin has to go for it. h4. Rook a5 to allow queen a8. Queen c3. As silly as it looks, the engine doesn't even realize that this is the losing move from a human perspective. because you will not be able to continue with all the threats because queen a8 comes. You must do something. Bishop to g2 connects the rooks and has this bishop at least developed. And here, Viswanathan Anand sacrifices a knight with knight to c7, brilliancy, and then plays rook c8, losing a bishop. And then can follow it up with knight to c4. The one minor piece you cannot touch. You could take the other three. The bishop I sacrificed on b3. The knight I sacrificed on c7. And the bishop I sacrificed on e7. The only minor piece I would not allow you to capture. Because g6 comes, I have to take once to avoid back rank and mating problems. And then I use that minor piece to take, stripping you of your final defender. And it would be king to h7. Karjakin is forced to make a knight to give check and to try and win a tempi. But takes. Look at that. The queen's hanging. We give check first. Why? So we force the king back to this position. And it was in this position that the game is basically over. King to c3. Karjakin tried to run. But check. Look at that. We don't even take the queen. Slides over. Queen b5. Check. King comes forward. Check. And queen c4. Now either rook a2 or queen c2 will be mate. Or queen e2 actually as well. After rook a2. Mate and 2 on the board. So Sergey Karjakin resigns. Up 10 points of material. Just by the way. Up 10 points. I showed you the line, right? I showed you the line, right? After f8, rook a1, check. The good move. Oh my gosh, I missed all of this. What? I missed the line. So f8 equals knight, right? There's rook takes, queen takes, which is what's played in the game. But if not f8 knight, if bishop to d4, threatening problems, then there's this beautiful rook a1 check, takes and mate. You get the rook out the way. So f8 knight has to be played. Rook takes f8 comes, queen takes f8, and then here rook a1, the king hand continues, king b2, rook a2, and then here obviously you can go back if you don't want to be hunted out, but then rook a1 check probably still works, but you can play queen takes f8 as I showed you earlier. But the king hand continued, king to c3, it's mate in 6, queen a5, and Vishy Anand finds it. A truly exceptional game from Viswanathan Anand, and that's why he's got not one but 2 Immortal Games.